to you about today is if you're stuck on getting a lead. So this guy has had, one of the main reasons why he hasn't done any sort of barrel racing is because his right hip has given him issues, and I kind of like him. I don't want him to get hurt or anything going around those tight turns, but he's kind of coming around. Anyway, so for years he's not been able to really pick up this right lead, like not when I'm on him. Now he's at it for the past couple of years, he can pick it up on the ground really easily, but not under saddle. So I've done the things where I've taught him haunches in, and not his shoulders in, we're working on that, but taught him haunches in, how to work off the haunches, a lot of body control, so that he would have the buttons to pick it up if needed. But he's so good at counter-cantering or just cantering on this left lead that he wouldn't do it. So I would not try to make, like, I wouldn't go around on the right and make him canter on the left lead because he's so good at it. Like, you almost can't even feel that he's on the left lead when you're going to the right. He's so good. So anyway, so how do you get a horse that's so good at one lead or the other to actually switch and go off on their opposite lead that they don't like? So just recently, a couple weeks ago, I was at a Wendy Nelson clinic, and we worked on a couple little things, or I guess it's not a clinic, a lesson, I suppose, and she gave me some exercises, and one exercise that has proven to be extremely helpful is one where I can get him onto his right leg. So he's a little bit sweaty because we were practicing it already, and since I like to keep these videos kind of short and sweet, and I don't have, again, my handy fence is taping me. I like to get it so it's like reasonably good so you can see it. So the first exercise, and I'll do it, I'll talk about it, and then I'll go do it because I can't yell far enough for the microphone to pick it up. So the first one that I do, because I don't really have access to a great fence, I just have barbed wire. But so the first one or the one that I've been doing with him it's called we do a 360. So you go in the direction, so I go to the left so that he can pick up his right lead. So we go to the left in a 360, and then you ask him to go off on that lead. And at first we exaggerate the movements quite a bit. So I have my right hand up quite a bit and my right leg out quite a bit to really encourage him to pick up that right lead. And so we're not great at it, so it's not going to be like a beautiful example, but I'll show you anyway. And then the second one is, or rather her first one was where you go on the wall at a 45, stop, and then kind of turn and go off at a canter. And so being at the wall will make them go off on that right lead. It also gets it so that you're off of the sit bone that you're wanting them to go off on, because if we're putting a lot of pressure on, if I put a lot of pressure on this right sit bone, then he's not going to be able to get underneath himself, so you really have to get off of that hip. So the things that your horse should be able to do before you maybe do these exercises is, first they have to be able to have control on their shoulders, right? They have to be able to go around. They have to have control on their hind end, and maybe try some of the other exercises where you teach them really good hind control so they can pick it up. And again, this isn't an exercise that I came up with. These are things that I come across, and then they're very helpful, so I decided to share, or that's been really helpful for me so far. And it's really kind of neat to show you a riding exercise versus just all groundwork. So anyway, I will go and I'll show you what I mean by a 360 and then try to get off on the right lead. And so in the event he doesn't go off on the right lead, we're going to bring him down to a stop and then go back and do it again until he gets this right lead. So there's a lot of snow here. that twice in a row. Obviously you couldn't see as we left because the fence doesn't follow my movements, but that's kind of it. So he's getting a little bit better at it, and I'm pleased that he didn't go off on the wrong lead. But if he had, there's not much room where you could see what would happen, but I'd bring him to a stop, bring him back to whatever spot. I'd come back to where the camera can see me, and then do it again. So the other thing though that I have found is if you're doing this 360 because you don't have a fence, because you're poor like me, because you don't have an indoor running range or outdoor anything where you have barbed wire. Anyway, he can, well, him in particular, but since he's a horse, I imagine other horses would do this. They'll start to anticipate that departure, or they'll kind of get a little bit sticky going around. So maybe I don't take off every time. I will, once he has a nice 360 turn, if he's getting sticky, I'll just stop and rest him there when he gets nice instead of taking off. And that'll kind of help with that anticipation. But so this is kind of really a helpful exercise, or at least for me, to really be able to pick up that lead, because for years it's been so hard. And eventually Wendy is telling me that right now you have to exaggerate quite a bit, but it'll get to the point where you don't have to exaggerate, and then you can obviously go and ask for that lead without doing a 360 is the goal. So anyway, I hope that helps as a bit of a riding exercise for you, and I will talk to you soon.